Hello everyone, this is Dawn over at Plot Chronicles. I thought this would be kind of a different video. I've never written a book, and I have to tell you guys something. I am not a very good writer. When I was in school, my best topic was math, okay? I did very well in math, and I loved to read, so I could read. My mother said, you were good at reading, but the problem is you didn't retain what you read. It's probably because I was bored. I get bored very easily, I told you guys that. Well, I came up with an idea for a book. I'm not saying I'm going to write it or anything. It's kind of fun to be creative in my mind. I don't know that this book would do very well, and you'll hear why, but I thought it was kind of an interesting story. Okay, this woman and guy, they go to college together, okay? And she is a very smart lady. She wants to be an engineer, and so she's good at math and science and things like that. So she takes her schoolwork very serious, but she's kind of serious, okay? Well, she meets a guy, this is just something I came up with. I don't have everything, all planned out. So she meets a guy at college. Maybe they're in a social club together, or they might meet him at a social gathering, okay? And they just connect. Well, this girl that's an engineer, just to let you know, she's kind of, she's groomed and everything, but she doesn't really take care. She doesn't look like one of the trending girls. She maybe, she looks nice, but she's not into the most updated fashion and makeup. So because her appearance, even though she's groomed and everything, she doesn't go out of her way to look like one of the other modern girls, if that makes sense, with the makeup and the hair and the cute little, skirts and all that kind of stuff. And so she doesn't attract a lot of attention from the opposite sex, if that makes sense. So anyway, but that was never really important to her. Well, she meets this guy, and actually they start connecting. Well, he's on the football team. He's involved in a fraternity, very good looking. All the girls like him, but he really likes this girl because, she understands him. She listens to him. She's actually real. She's not fake. But because he cares more about what his friends think, he doesn't show anything more than friend. Now, she likes him more than a friend, okay? But he doesn't, and he likes her more than a friend, but he doesn't want to admit that because he knows that he won't be accepted with his peers, like, the football team. Anyway, she gets the nerve to ask him to go to some kind of social gathering. And like I said, guys, I just came up with the story. I don't have all the details worked out. And he and his friends see a note written, and they kind of laugh about it, and they make fun of him, and he acts all embarrassed, and she's kind of embarrassed about it. Well, after that, this is during college, they kind of lose touch a little bit, okay, because she's too uncomfortable to talk to him, and he kind of felt like, he kind of acted like a jerk about it. And so they see each other, and they're polite in passing, but they no longer have that connection anymore. And then as she's going on with school, she's getting involved in her engineering classes. So she has to buckle down and get serious, okay? Because, she's going to want to find a job and all of that. And so he's just goofing around. And when they were seeing each other before as friends, she would help him with some of his schoolwork because he spent so much time socializing and being goofy. He was just really caught up in being popular, all right? Well, anyway, they leave college. He goes off and does different types of jobs. He gets married, has a couple kids, and she does not get married, okay? But because she's got to be out working professionally, she actually, takes care of herself. She's maybe lost some weight. She maybe does learn how to do her hair and her makeup a little bit, so she looks professional but nice, okay? Well, they have a college reunion, and they run into each other. Well, this guy that she went to college with, we'll call him Tom. We'll say she's Jane, he's Tom. So Tom, life hasn't been so good. He's been in and out of jobs, okay? He's in a lot of debt right now. He's having to pay child support. His wife and him, she broke up with him when she found out that he, lost his job. So things are not going too well for him. His health's kind of not the best because he's been, overeating and drinking and not taking the best care. She's made it a priority to take care of her health, has a really good job, has moved up and loves being an engineer and all of that. Well, she runs into him. Well, at first, a lot of people are going to say, well, Dawn, you know what? They get together and he realizes how much he loves her and all this. No, that's not what happens, because I wanted it to be something different. So they meet each other at the college reunion, and, you know, he talks to her and he goes up and apologizes to her and says, hey, I'm, you know, really sorry about how I acted like her. She goes, oh, that's water under the bridge. She goes, I forgave you a long time ago. She goes, that's what's college stuff. She goes, hey, I was there to, you know, to go to school and to, you know, be out, to be able to get, you know, get a career, have a good job, things like that. And that's what I was there for. You know, this is college. That's only for a short, temporary time in our life. And, you know, she was telling about her life. They had a really good conversation. And basically, he went away feeling really encouraged. And he's like, you know, I really messed this up. I could have had a really nice lady and had a good relationship with somebody that really cared about me, wanted the best, that could bring the best out of you. And you guys have heard this before, you know, that behind every successful man is a woman that's extremely encouraging, kind, compassionate to her husband, and she builds him up. And that's kind of what she was to him, always a source of encouragement. Well, so, and I don't have this part worked out, but he goes home and he says, you know, enough is enough. And he starts working on himself, you know, getting his health back in order, getting his finances back in order, working multiple jobs so he can pay off his debt and things like that. And then they meet again later down the road. Now, but the thing is she's happy. This is the part that's different. She's happy being single. And she says, hey, we can be friends, but I'm really happy being single. I don't need to be married or have children and fit into a box like others. I'm really happy with my career. I get to travel, and it's not something that I'm looking for in my life. I know you're going to say, Dawn, that's not how these stories end. That is true, but I wanted it to be a different ending because so many people put things in a box, like everybody has to get married and have kids. Everybody has to do this. Everybody has to, you know, and I wanted it to be something different. Anyway, let me know what you think of the story idea. If you think it's boring, let me know. I always have ideas, but I'm like the worst writer in the world. I mean, because my sentences are short and choppy. I'm not descriptive at all. And so I would not even know how to write up something like that. I just wanted to share a story idea. Have any of you wanted to be an author? And if so, what kind of book would you write? I want to hear about it in the comments below. Love you, appreciate you, and hope to see you later. Or see you tomorrow. Bye.